जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांगता विकगिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत स्मर भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत स्मर भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत स्मर भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्रील गोक्षर बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौरिया गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन पाल भट्टदास गुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम आचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna, Raseshwari Mataji, Rukmini Didi, and Champak Mataji. Hari Bol. All right, so let's do the Mangalacharan. I'm going to do a shorter Mangalacharan today because I started late. I had to use the bathroom all of a sudden and that started late. So, yeah. Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Avatirno Sakarunyo Parichinno Sarishvaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Dvau Bhrataro Bhaje. Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Lakshmi Kanta Jaya Jaya Nityananda Vallabha Ekanta Jaya Jaya Vaikunta Ishwar Nyasi Raj Jaya 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 Bhakata Samaj Jaya Jaya Patita Pavana Gaura Chandra Dana Deho Hridaye Tomar Pada Dvandva Shesha Khanda Katha Bhai Shuno Ek Chitte Nila Chale Gora Chandra Aila Jemate Tvai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptascha Kama Ditaranga Madhye Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Sahaje vichitra madhur chaitanya vihar, Vrindavana dasa mukhe amrite dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Swaparshad Śrī Gaurasundara ki jai. Haribol Kishore Prabhu. All right, and I see a few other devotees there, but I don't see your names. If you write a comment, then I'll see who you are. All right, so we are continuing on with our reading of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. We're now reading chapter 5, the Pastimes of Nityānanda. I'm going to read this summary by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami. From oh, and Srila Bhakti Vallabha Goswami Maharaj's Centennial Vyas Puja is in exactly 1 week from now, 7 days from now, April 17th in Navadvip. Okay. From Advaita's house in Shantipur, Śrī Gaurasundara went to the house of Srivas Pandit in Kumarhatta. And devotees such as Shivananda Sen and Vasudev Datta Thakur came there to meet the Lord in Srivas's house. At the meeting between Vasudev Datta Thakur and Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu narrated the glories of Vasudev Datta. Srivas Pandit and his brother Ramai were very dear to Mahaprabhu on account of their unlimited services, like performing Sankirtan, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, and performing dramas. One day, Mahaprabhu asked Srivas Pandit why he didn't endeavor at all to feed and clothe his extensive family. How would he be able to maintain their livelihood? In reply, Srivas Pandit said that he did not wish to go anywhere to earn money, for whatever was destined would certainly happen. Then Mahaprabhu said, Srivas, you should take sannyas. You're not going to maintain your family then. What's the use of being a grass? You should take sannyas. Srivas Pandit replied, I cannot do that. Mahaprabhu said, then how will you maintain your family members? Srivas Pandit clapped his hands and counted 1, 2, 3. Mahaprabhu asked him the meaning of this, and Srivas Pandit said, if I do not get any food after fasting for 3 consecutive days, then I will tie a heavy pitcher to my neck and jump into the Ganga. As soon as Mahaprabhu heard Srivas's words, he roared loudly and said, even if Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, happens to beg, you will not be affected by poverty. Did you forget my words in Bhagavad Gita, that anyone who thinks of me without deviation, ananyaschinta, I supply what they lack and preserve what they have? For someone who is personally maintained by the supreme maintainer of the entire universe, what anxiety will he have for food and cloth? I give you the benediction that even if you sit at home, all ingredients for Krishna's service will automatically come to you. Mahaprabhu then ordered Ramai to continually serve his elder brother and exalted Vaishnava Srivas. From Srivas's house, Mahaprabhu went to Raghav Pandit's house in Pāṇihāṭi, where many devotees gathered to see the Lord. The Lord privately instructed Raghava Pandit to see himself, Śrī Gaurasundara, and Nityānanda as non-different, and he ordered Makara Dvajakara to serve Śrī Raghava Pandit. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu went from Pāṇihāṭi to a house in Varaha Nagar, belonging to a particular devotee Brahman who is expert in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. On hearing his recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord became especially pleased and awarded him the designation Bhagavat Acharya. And for those who missed the class yesterday, I played videos of when I recently went to well, recently means like, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or something like that. But I went to this place called Patpari. It's the place where Mahaprabhu met with Raghunath Bhagavat Acharya. And also there's videos of Pāṇihāṭi and the house of Raghava Pandit and his samadhi as well. But if you want to see that, it's in our Caitanya-bhāgavata WhatsApp group. Okay. Oh, and Hare Krishna English 101. I don't know what your name is, but pranams. Okay, so in this way, the Lord stayed in various devotees' houses in each of the villages along the banks of the Ganga in Bengal and performed kirtana and dancing and fulfilled the desires of everyone. Then he again went to Nilachal and stayed at the house of Kashi Mishra. On hearing that Mahaprabhu had returned to Nilachal, King Prataparudra came to Puri with his capital from his capital Cuttack and displayed intense eagerness to see the Lord as he made special requests to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and other devotees to arrange for him to meet the Lord. When the devotees saw the king's intense eagerness, they advised him to watch the Lord's dancing from a hidden place. But when the king saw saliva frothing from the Lord's mouth, dust on the Lord's body, and other symptoms Mahaprabhu displayed while dancing in transcendental madness, he was unable to understand Mahaprabhu's transcendental ecstatic transformations. And after falling asleep with a doubtful mind, he saw in a dream that the body of Sri Jagannath was also covered with saliva and dust. When the king tried to touch Sri Jagannath in the dream, Jagannath cautioned him by saying, "Your bodily limbs adorned with sandalwood pulp mixed with musk are never fit to touch my body covered with saliva and dust." At that moment, King Prataparudra saw Śrī Caitanya-Mahaprabhu. He saw Śrī Caitanya-dev sitting in the same place where Jagannath had been sitting, and his body covered in the same way with saliva and dust. As the king attempted to touch him, Śrī Gaurhari said to Prataparudra, "Since you have aversion for me in your mind, why do you want to touch me?" As the king woke up, he became extremely repentant and realized that Śrī Gaurasundara was none different from Śrī Jagannath. One day, as Mahaprabhu was sitting in a flower garden with his associates, King Prataparudra came and offered obeisances to the Lord by falling flat like an uprooted banana tree, and symptoms of ecstatic love manifested in the body of the king. The king then began to speak to the Lord with utmost humility. The Lord showered his merciful benediction on the king and told him that he came to Nilachal only for the sake of Rai Ramananda, Sarvabhauma, and Prataparudra. He also told the king that he should not reveal the actual identity of the Lord, who is enacting the pastimes of a covered incarnation, for as long as the Lord was present on this planet. The Lord then offered the garlands he was wearing to the king and gave him permission to leave. One day in Nilachal, Śrī Mahāprabhu called Nityānanda to a solitary place. While discussing with him about the preaching of pure devotional service in Bengal, the Lord sent Nityānanda along with his associates to Bengal to fulfill his mission there. All right, so that's where we read up to yesterday. Now we will continue reading on. What verse is it? 231. Okay. Hare Krishna Vidyalala Sadidi and Shubhananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay, 231. If I wasn't in such a, if I wasn't trying to finish this in a rush, then I would be reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita also, just so that we can, because it's explained very, this pastime of Prataparudra and Mahaprabhu is very much told in brief here, and it's very detailed in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But anyhow, we will eventually read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. 231. Okay. Oh, and we didn't read this Gaudiya Bhasha yesterday, so we'll read that now. So. Kashi Mishra was greatly overwhelmed in the mellows of love for Krishna. The Lord personally stayed in his house. In this way, the Lord and all his servants constantly enjoyed pastimes of Sankirtan. All the renounced servants of Lord Chaitanya gradually came and took up residence in Nilachal. I think I read this one, right? Yeah. Nityananda Prabhu was most independent and effulgent. He wandered all over Nilachal. He was always intoxicated by the mellows of transcendental ecstasy. No one could understand his incomprehensible glories. He constantly chanted the name, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Even in his dream, he would not speak anything else. Nitai's love for Lord Chaitanya was like the love and attachment Lakshman had for Ramachandra. By the mercy of Lord Nityananda, the entire world is now singing the glories of Lord Chaitanya. In this way, the two brothers, Caitanya-Mahaprabhu and Nitāi, lived at Nilachal. One day, Śrī Gaurasundara, the Supreme Lord in the form of a human being, sat down with Nityananda in a solitary place. The Lord said, "Listen, O magnanimous Nityananda, go quickly to Navadvip. I have personally promised to inundate the fools, the fallen, and the poor in the happiness of ecstatic love. If you also remain silent like a Muni and renounce your magnanimous nature, then tell me, who will deliver the fools and the wretched souls who have fallen into material life? You are the distributor of the mellows of devotional service. If you hide them, then what is the use of your incarnation in this world? Now, if you wish to fulfill my promise, then you should go to Bengal without delay. Deliver the foolish, wretched, fallen, and distressed persons by giving them devotional service." And then I didn't read this Gaudiya Bhasha yesterday because we ran out of time. So Śrī Gaurasundara ordered Śrī Nityananda Prabhu to go to Gaudadesh. All intelligent, aristocratic, learned people of Gaudadesh accepted the religion preached by Gaurasundara. But foolish, wretched, sinful people could not understand the topics of devotional service to Krishna preached by Gaurasundara. To benefit those foolish, wretched, fallen souls, to liberate them from their non-devotional propensities, Śrī Gaurasundara sent Śrī Nityananda to Gaudadesh. Śrī Mahāprabhu had personally promised that he would deliver all ignorant, fallen people who are more or less useless. But since pseudo-devotee enjoyers of the fruits of their karma who are attached to sense gratification, as well as impersonal Maya bodies who desire liberation, are all included among the fools, wretched, and fallen, the most merciful Lord, Śrī Gaurasundara, sent Nityananda to uplift them. Since the Mayavadi's extreme arrogance and the ritualistic smarta's pride born of adeptness became impediments in their attaining devotional service to the Supreme Lord, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, who was unhappy to see the distress of others, went to Gaudadesh to fulfill the internal desire of Sriman Mahaprabhu. Although the inhabitants of Bengal are still more or less polluted by faults like sentimentality, the Rajasthanis and Gujaratis glorified. Although the inhabitants of Bengal are still more or less polluted by faults like sentimentality, the Rajasthanis and Gujaratis glorify them. Okay, that's an interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. It is kind of true though that yeah, anyways. Just after living in Puri and UP for a long time, um, I see like the Hindustanis and like Oriya people, they know Bengalis to be very bhavuk, very what's the word? Emotional. Okay. Like as a general thing, but it's not all Bengalis are like that. Okay. Having received the Lord's order, Nityananda Chandra immediately left for Gaudadesh with his associates. Okay, so that's where we read up to yesterday. 2:30, right? Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna, Rasa Priya Didi, and Nri Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji, and Gopal Ghanasham Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay. Agya Pai Nityananda Chandra Tata Khane Cholilen Gora Deshe Loi Nijagone. One second. Just putting the comments so that I can see them easily. Okay. Yeah, so having received the Lord's order, Nityananda Chandra immediately left for Gaudadesh with his associates. Rama Dasa Gadādhara Dasa Mahāshai Raghunatha Vaidya Ojha Bhakti Rasamoy Krishna Dasa Pandit Parameshwari Das Purandar Panditer Parama Ulas Nityananda Swaruper Jata Aptagan Nityananda Shange Sabe Korila Gaman. Nityananda Swarup was accompanied by his intimate associates, such as Ramdas, Gadādhara Das Mahashai, Raghunath Vaidya, who was filled with the mellows of devotional service, Krishnadas Pandit, Parameshwari Das, and the most jubilant Purandar Pandit. Pate Chalite Nityananda Mahashai, Sarva Parishad Age Koila Premamoy. As they began their journey, Lord Nityananda first bestowed ecstatic love on all of his associates. Sabar hoilo atma vismriti atyanta, kar dehe koto bhav nahi tar anta. As a result, they completely forgot themselves. There is no end to the ecstatic symptoms that manifest in their bodies. Pratame Vaishnavagra Ganya Ramadas Tan Dehe Hoilen Gopala Prakash. The topmost Vaishnav Ramdas was the first to manifest the mood of a cowherd boy. Interesting, Ramdas. Madhyapate Ramadas Tribanga Hoya Achila Praharatina Bahya Pashariya. Somewhere on the way, Ramdas forgot the external world and stood for 9 hours in a threefold bending form. Wow. Hoila Radhika Bhav Gadādhara Dase Dadike Kinive Bole Atta Atta Hase. Yesterday we read about Gadādhara Das from the what was it? From the book Śrī Caitanya and His Associates by Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. Gadādhara Das became absorbed in the mood of Radhika. He loudly laughed and said, "Who will buy yogurt?" Gaudiya Bhashyam. Being absorbed in the mood of a gopi, Sri Gadādhara Das began to laugh loudly and ask, "Who will buy yogurt?" Foolish people, without understanding the true meaning of the word bhav, end up becoming Saki Bekis. And then there's a footnote from the editor. Saki Bekis are those who think of Krishna as an object of sense gratification and dress their material male body. They dress their material male body up to look like one of Krishna's girlfriends. So foolish people, without understanding the true meaning of the word bhav, they end up becoming Saki Bekis, thinking that it refers to the external dress and ornaments. This type of degradation of the living entities resulting from external knowledge is an impediment to the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. And what did we read? We read that Gadādhara Pandit is Gadādhara Das is the Kanti, the embodiment of the Kanti of Srimati Radhika. And also he's a Saki of Baladev Prabhu. Oh God, what was the name? It's like Padma. No, no, I mean, it wasn't Padma. Let's just look because I forgot and I'm curious. And he's also another gopi. Is it okay? Yeah, let me put it on the screen for everyone to see. Gadādhara Das. Gadādhara Das. There. Okay, so Gadādhara Das, she who during Krishna's avatar was Chandrakanti, the manifestation of Radharani's ornaments, has become Gadādhara Das by Gauranga's side. Balaram's beloved Purnananda has also entered into him for some special purpose. So that must be why he's with Nityananda Prabhu, because it's also Purnananda, who is the beloved of Balaram. And then Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said, he is Srimati Radharani's effulgence. Just as Srila Gadādhara Pandit Goswami is Srimati Radharani herself, so Gadādhara Das is an avatar of her bodily luster. And the Lord's avatar is Krishna with the emotions and bodily luster of Srimati Radharani. He is that bodily luster. Okay. Although Gadādhara Das was an associate of Nityananda Prabhu, he was not in the mood of friendship as a cowherd boy, but is in the conjugal mood. He established the temple of Gauranga in Katwa. Okay. So now, Raghunatha Vaidya Upadhyaya Mahamati Hoilen Murtimati Jeheno Revati. The most magnanimous Raghunatha Vaidya Upadhyaya became fully absorbed in the mood of Revati. Gaudiya Bhashya. Srimad Raghunatha Vaidya displayed the mood of Revati and began.
Yeah.
Oh,
oops, sorry.
No worries. No worries. Srimad Raghunatha Vaidya displayed the mood of Revati and began acting accordingly. Those who discuss Jiva Goswami's Durgama Sangamani commentary on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu know that sadhaks who are preparing for perfection and siddhas who are already perfect never consider themselves equal to the Ashraya Vigraha. But in the vision of others, they are seen as Bhagavad Ashraya Vigraha, are directly related to the Supreme Lord. Exhibition of sentiments befitting the Vishaya Vigraha, the Supreme Lord, like Sri Ramadas, assuming a threefold bending form in the mood of a cowherd boy, often misguide foolish people. That is why the author has used the adjective Vaishnava Graganya, the topmost Vaishnava, to describe Sri Ramadas, and to not create misconceptions by describing him as Viṣṇu. 1 second, there's a ton of mosquitoes biting my feet. I'm just gonna put some. 1 second. Sorry. Strange. Yeah. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I can't find it. All right. Oh. Okay. Kusharasa Parameshwari Dasa Dui Jan Gopal Bhave Hoi Hoi Kore Anukhan. Krishnadasa and Parameshwari Das would always raise a loud uproar in the mood of cowherd boys. Gaudiya Bhashya. Both Parameshwari Das and Krishnadas were servants of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, it should be understood that the Gopal Bhav mentioned herein refers to the mood found in the 12 cowherd boys of Raj, and not as found in Gopal Krishna. Bhav refers to the internal mood, not to the external appearance. Therefore, no one should accept the activities of foolish people like the Saki Bekis and Gopal Bekis as limbs of devotional service. Moreover, no one should fall into illusion by accepting the activities of the spiritual master as ordinary mortal activities. 1 second. Purandar Pandita Gachete Giya Chade Munire Angar Boli Lamphadiya Pore. Purandar Pandit would climb a tree and jump from it, declaring, I am Angad. E Mata Nityānanda Śrī Ananta Dham Savare Dilen Bhav Parama Udam. In this way, Nityananda, the origin of Ananta, aroused all of the devotees' transcendental sentiments. Dande patta chale shave krosha dui chari jayen dakshina bame apana pasari. Within half with within a half hour, they would cover 4 to 8 miles. Wow, how do they go? That's a very long distance. They did not know whether they were going left or right. They must have been running like really fast. Okay. Kotokhane patta jigyasen lokasthane. Bolo bolo bhai ganga tire jaibo. Bolo bhai ganga tire jaibo ke mone. After some time, they asked some people, "Oh, brothers, tell us, how can we reach the Ganga?" Lok bole, "Hi, hi, patta pashari, lad, sorry, patta pasharila, dui praharer patta firiya aila." So they'd say, "Well, how can we get to the Ganga?" Those people would reply, "Alas, hi, hi, you have taken the wrong path. You have come 6 hours away from the proper path." Lokabakya piriya jayan jatapat punapat chariya jayan she mata. After hearing their words, they would return to the right path, but they would then go in the wrong direction as before. Punapat jigyasa koroe lokasthane lokavole pattarahe dasha krosha bame. Again, they would ask people who would reply, "The proper path is 20 miles to the left." Puna hasi shabe chalen patta jata nija deha na janen patter katha. Um, they then laughed and went again towards the proper path. They were not even aware of their own bodies, so what to speak of the road? Jata deho dharma kudha trishna bhoy dhuk kaha yeah kaharo kaharo nahi kapai parananda sukh. They did not feel any bodily urges like hunger, thirst, fear, or distress, for they were all relishing transcendental happiness. I think that these parts are the funnest parts of Chaitanya-bhāgavata when you hear about the Dvadash Gopal. Patte jata lila korilen Nityānanda, ke varnive ke bhajane shakali ananta. Who can know or describe all the pastimes that Nityananda performed on the way? They were all unlimited, or only Ananta can know and describe them. So 2 meanings there. Ke barnibe, ke bajane, shakali Ananta. Only Ananta can do all of it, or they are all unlimited. Unlimited pastimes. Heno mate Nityananda Shri Ananta Dham, Ailen Ganga Tire, Pāṇihāṭi Gram. In this way, Nityananda, the origin of Lord Ananta, came to the village of Pāṇihāṭi on the bank of the Ganga. Raghava Pandita Grihe, Sarvade Asiya, Rohilen Shakal Parsha, Rohilen Shakala Parshada Ganaloya. He first went to Raghav Pandit's house, where he stayed along with all his associates. Parama Ananda Hoila Raghava Pandita, Śrī Mahāprabhu Goshtir Sahita. Raghav Pandit, Śrī Mahāprabhu, and their families became greatly pleased. Henomate Nityānanda Pānihāṭi Grame Rohilen Shakala Parshada Ganasane. In this way, Nityananda stayed with his associates in the village of Pānihāṭi. Nirantar Parananda Koren Hunkar Vivalata Bina Dehe Bahya Nahi Ar. He would constantly roar loudly in ecstasy, and he was always overwhelmed with no sign of external consciousness. Nritya koribare icha hoilo antare gayak shakal asi milila satvare. When he felt the desire to dance, all the singers quickly gathered around him. Sukriti Madhava Ghosh Kirtane Tatpar Heno Kirtaniya Nahi Prithvi Bhitar. The most pious Madhav Ghosh was expert in performing kirtan. There is no kirtan leader like him in the entire world. Gaudiya Vasha, Śrī Madhav, Vasudev, and Govinda Ghosh were all expert in performing kirtan. They were not like ordinary mundane kirtan leaders. Therefore, they were addressed as the singers of Vrindavan. When one's mundane conceptions are completely destroyed, one's propensity for serving Hari increases. Specifically, Madhav, Vasudev, and Govinda were personal expansions of Radharani, the Ashray Vigraha of the Madhur Ras of Vraj. Wow. How come Radharani is in square brackets? So, anyways. Jahare kohin Vrindavanir gayan, Nityānanda Swaruper Mahapriyatama. He was known as a singer of Vrindavan, and he was most dear to Nityānanda Swarup. Madhav Govinda Vasudeva Tina Bhai, Gaite Lagila Nache Ishvar Nitāi. Madhav, Vasudev, and Govinda were three brothers. When they began to sing, Lord Nityananda would dance. Enoshe nachin avadutta mahabal, pada bhore prithvi koroe talaman. The most powerful Avadut would dance in such a way that the earth would sway under the weight of his feet. Niravadi hari boli koroye hunkar, achara dekhite log, pai chamatkar. He would always chant the name of Hari and roar loudly. People would be struck with wonder on seeing him forcefully fall to the ground. Jahare koren drishti nachite nachite, she preme dhaliya poren prithivite. Anyone who received his glance as he was dancing would fall to the ground in ecstatic love. Paripurna prem rasa moy Nityānanda, sansar tarite korilen shubharamba. Nityānanda, who was filled with the mellows of ecstatic love, now began his auspicious task of delivering the entire world. Gaudiya Vasha, Śrī Nityananda began his auspicious task of delivering the people of this world by distributing ecstatic love of God. He personally demonstrated how one can fully surrender in the service of the Supreme Lord so that one can attain perfection in devotional service. Jateka achila prem bhaktir vikar, sab prakashiya nritya koren apar. He manifested all the various transformations of loving devotional service as he danced wonderfully. Koto khane boshilen kathar upare, agya hoilo abhiṣek koribar tore. After some time, he sat down on the deity throne and instructed the devotees to perform abhiṣek. Raghav Pandita Adi Parishad Gane, abhiṣek korite lagila she khane. Raghav Pandit and the Lord's other associates immediately began to perform abhiṣek. Sahasra sahasra ghata ani ganga jal, nana gandhe suvasita koriya shaka. They brought thousands of pots filled with Ganga water mixed with various scented oils. Santoshe sabe den Shri Mastako pari, Chaturdike shabe bolen hari hari. Everyone happily poured water on his head as they all chanted the name of Hari in the four directions. Shabe poren abhiṣeka mantra gita, parama santoshe sabe hoilo pulakita. They all chanted the mantras and songs that were appropriate for abhiṣek, and everyone's hairs stood on end as they became filled with great satisfaction. Abhiṣeka koraiya nutana vasanam, poraiya lepilen Shri Ange Chandan. After completing the abhiṣek, they dressed Nityananda in new cloth and smeared his body with sandalwood pulp. Divyavana malatai tulasi sahite, pinavakha purna korile nanamate. They decorated his broad chest with garlands of forest flowers and tulsi leaves. Tabe divya katha swarne koriya bhushita, samukhe aniya korilena upanita. They Then they brought an opulent throne decorated with gold and placed it before him. Khattai boshila Prabhu vara Nityānanda, chhatra dhorilen shire Śrī Raghavananda. As Lord Nityananda sat on the throne, Śrī Raghavananda held an umbrella over his head. Jai dvani korite lagila bhaktagan, chaturdike hoilo maha ananda badan. All the devotees began to chant, Jai, Jai. Musical instruments produced ecstatic vibrations in the four directions. Trahi trahi shabe bolen bahutuli, karo bahya nahi shabe mahakutuhali. Everyone raised their arms and exclaimed, Trahi, Trahi, save us, save us. They were in such ecstasy that they forgot themselves. Swanu Bhavanande Prabhu Nityananda Rai, Prema Drishti Vrishti Kori Chari Dike Chai. In his own ecstatic mood, Lord Nityananda Prabhu showered everyone in the four directions with ecstatic love by his merciful glance. Agya Kori Len Shuno Raghava Pandita, kadamba mala jhata anaho tvarita. He ordered, Listen, Raghav Pandit, quickly bring me a garland of kadamba flowers. Poroprita amar kadamba pushpa prati, kadamber vane nitya amar vasati. I am very fond of kadamba flowers. In fact, I always reside in a kadamba forest. Kara joda koriya Raghavananda kohe, kadamba pushper yoga eshamoy nahe. Oh, so I was thinking that Raghavananda and Raghava Pandit were two different people, but it looks like it's the same person. So with folded hands, Raghavananda said, This is not the season for kadamba flowers. Prabhu bole bari giya chaho bhalo mane kadachit phutiya ba thake kon sthane. The Lord then said, Go home and look carefully. There may be some blooming somewhere. Barir bhitore giya chahen Raghava, Vismita hoila deki maha anubhava. Raghava went inside the house and was struck with wonder at what he saw. Jambirer vrikeshab kadamber phul, Putiya achaye ate parama atul. He saw that the lime tree was filled with the most amazing blooming kadamba flowers. Gaudiya Bhasha. The word jambir refers to a lime or citron tree. Ki apurva varna sheba ki apurva ganda, she pushpa dekile koi jai sarva bandha. How wonderful was the color and fragrance of those flowers. All one's material bondage was destroyed by seeing those flowers. Dekhiya kadamba pushpa Raghava pandita, bahya durgelo hoila mahaharashita. When Raghav Pandit saw those kadamba flowers, he lost external consciousness and became filled with jubilation. Apana samvari mala gantiya satvare, anilen Nityānanda prabhur gochare. He then checked his emotions and quickly prepared a garland, which he brought to Nityananda Prabhu. Gaudiya Bhasha. By the order of Śrī Nityananda, Raghav Pandit found kadamba flowers in the lime tree. He prepared a garland with those flowers and offered it to Nityananda Prabhu. At that time, it was impossible to find kadamba flowers. Kadamba flowers generally blossom in the beginning of the rainy season during the month of Ashad, June, July. But it was not that time. Also, kadamba flowers generally grow from kadamba trees, not lime trees. Although from the external point of view, it was impossible to find kadamba flowers, especially in a lime tree, it is never impossible in the pastimes that are transcendental to material nature. Those who are adorned with spiritual realization do not enter into the arguments of this external world. A service-inclined heart checks a living entity's inclination for enjoying this material world and helps him enter the kingdom of devotional service. In that state, one's ego does not remain confined to mundane relationships. Kadamber mala dekhi Nityānanda Rai, Parama santoshe mala dilen kolai. When Lord Nityānanda saw the garland of kadamba flowers, he accepted it with great satisfaction. Kadamba malar gandhe shakala Vaishnav, vivala hoila dekhi maha anubhav. All the Vaishnavas became overwhelmed on seeing that wonderful incident and on smelling the sweet fragrance of that kadamba garland. Ar maha ascharya hoila kotakhane, apurva danarganda pai sarva jane. Shortly thereafter, another most wonderful incident took place. Everyone smelled the wonderful fragrance of damanaka flowers. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word dana refers to damanaka flowers or Artemisia indica. Let's see what that looks like. Let me open up a new window here. Oops. Let's see. Okay. This flower, what is it called? What's this flower called? It's a very common name, anyways. Damanaka pushper sugandhe man hare, dashadik vyapta hoilo shakala mandire. The fragrance of damanaka flowers enchanted everyone's mind. All 10 directions were filled with that fragrance. Hasi Nityānanda bole, are bhai shab, bolo deki ki gandher pao anubhav. Nityananda smiled and said, "Oh, brothers, tell me, do you smell something?" Kara joda kori shabe lagila kohite, apurva danar gandha pai chari bhite. Everyone folded their hands and said, "We smell wonderful fragrance of damanaka flowers in the 4 directions." Sabar vachana shuni Nityānanda Rai, kohite lagila gopya parama kripai. On hearing their words, Lord Nityānanda mercifully revealed the secret behind this. Prabhu bole shuno shabe parama rahasya, tomra shakale iha jani ba avashya. Nityananda Prabhu said, "Listen to this most confidential topic. All of you should understand this. Chaitanya Goshai aji shunite kirtan, nilachal hoite korilen agaman." Lord Chaitanya came today from Nilachal to hear the kirtan. Sarvange pariya divya tamanaka mala, ekavrikhe avalambana koriyarohila. His body was decorated with a divine garland of damanaka flowers, and he stayed here for a while, leaning against one tree. Shri Angir Divya Damanaka Gandhe Chaturdike Purna Hoyachaye Anande. The 4 directions were filled with the divine fragrance of the damanaka flowers that were decorating his body. Toma sabakar nritya kirtana dekhite, apane aila prabhu nilachala hoite. The Lord personally came from Nilachal to see you all dance and chant in kirtan. Eteke tomra sarva karja parihari, niravadi Krishna gao, apana pashari. Therefore, you should give up all other engagements and absorb yourselves in the constant glorification of Lord Krishna. Niravadi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Jashe Sabar Sharir Purna Ho Prema Rase. May all of you become filled with the mellows of ecstatic love by constantly glorifying Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chandra. Eto kohi hari boli koroye hunkar sarva dikhe prema drishti korila vistar. After speaking these words, Nityananda loudly chanted the name of Hari. He then cast his love-filled glance in all the directions. Nityananda swaruper prema drishti pate sabar hoilo atma vismriti dehete. By the love-filled glance of Nityananda Swarup, they all forgot themselves. Gaudiya Bhashya. By the love-filled glance of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, they all forgot the external world, and they realized that Śrī Gaurasundara had come from Nilachal, and all directions were filled with the sweet fragrance of Damanaka flowers. In South India, Damanaka flowers are widely used because of their fragrance. They look like the leaves of the tamarisk tree, but they are very soft. Unless one forgets about the external world, there is no possibility of approaching the beauty of transcendental service. God, this is really bugging me. It's a very common flower. Like they make these small malas that last forever. But I can't think of what it's called. Here, let's type it in Bengali and see what it comes. Spelled like that? No, it's a short A, right? Yeah. Sorry, it's not even coming in the dictionary. Anyways, doesn't matter. Gaudiya Bhashya. Oh wait, I just read that. Okay. So they took all the leaves from the tamarisk. Yeah, okay. Shuno shuno are bhai Nityananda Shakti. Jai rupe dilen sarva jagat tere bhakti. Oh brothers, hear about the power of Nityananda and how he distributed devotional service throughout the entire world. Jai bhakti gopika ganer kohe bhagavate. Nityananda hoite taha pailo jagate. The devotion of the gopis described in Srimad Bhagavatam was awarded to the people of the world by Nityananda. Nityananda boshiya achin singhasane samukhe karoi nritya parishad gane. As Nityananda was sitting on the throne, all of his associates danced before him. Keho giya vrikher upar dale chade, pate pate bedaye tathapi nahi pade. Some climbed on the branch of a tree and walked on the leaves, yet he did not fall. Keho keho prem suke hunkar koria, vrikher upare thaki pore lampha dia. Someone roared loudly in ecstatic love and jumped down from the top of a tree. Kehoba hunkar kore brikha mula dhori, upariya phele brikha boli hari hari. Someone roared loudly as he grabs the root of a tree and then uprooted it while chanting the name of Hari. Kehoba kuvakam pane jai rada diya, gacho pancha sata gua ekatra koria. Someone ran into a betel nut forest, grabbed 5 or 7 trees, and uprooted them together. Henoshe dehete janmi ache prem bol, trinaprai upadiya felai shakal. His body was filled with such powerful ecstatic love that he uprooted those trees as if they were blades of grass. Ashrukampa stamba karma pulaka hunkar, swarbhanga vaivarnya garjana singhasar, Shri Ananda Murcha Adi Jata Prema Bhav, Bhagavate Kohe Jata Krishna Anurag, Sabar Sharire Purna Hoilo Shakal, Heno Nityananda Swaruper Prem Bal. Nityananda Swarup's ecstatic love was so powerful that everyone's body became filled with the transformations of ecstatic love for Krishna described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, such as crying, shivering, becoming stunned, perspiring, hair standing on end, shouting loudly, voice choking, turning pale, thundering, roaring like a lion, and falling unconscious in ecstasy. Jedike dekhe Nityananda Mahashaya, Shedike Mahaprem Bhakti Brishti Hoy. There was an intense shower of ecstatic devotional love in whatever direction Lord Nityananda cast his glance. Jahare chahen she preme murcha pai, vastrana samvare bhume pori gori jai. Whoever he looked at lost consciousness in ecstatic love and rolled on the ground, forgetting his cloth. Nityananda Swarupere dhori bare dhai, Hase Nityananda Prabhu Boshiya Katai. As someone tried to catch hold of Nityananda Swarup's feet, Nityananda Prabhu sat on the throne and smiled. Jata Parishad Nityanandir Pradhan, Sabare Hoilo Sarva Shakti Adhishtan, Sarva Gyata Baksh Siddhi, Hoilo Sabar, Sabe Hoilen Jeno Kandarpa Akar. All the principal associates of Nityananda were fully empowered. They became omniscient, and whatever they spoke came true. Their features resembled those of Cupid. Gaudiya Bhashya. The principal devotees of Sri Nityananda became filled with various potencies and began to display many wonderful feats. They were omniscient, which is rare among human beings, and their words came true, and their bodies manifest beautiful features. Sobe jare parasha koren hasta diya, she hoy vivala shakala prasiya. Sorry, pashariya. Sorry, guys. Anyone who was touched by their hands forgot everything and became overwhelmed with ecstasy. E rupe Pāṇihāṭi grame tīn mas, Nityānanda Prabhu kore bhaktir vilas. In this way, Nityananda Prabhu relished devotional service for 3 months in the village of Pāṇihāṭi. Atina masa karo bahya nahi ko sharire, deho dharma tilardhe ko kare nahi spure. For 3 months, no one manifests external consciousness. They did not feel even the slightest urge of the body. Kishore says, Google says it's called Artemisia pollens. Okay, interesting. So those flowers. Okay. Tina mase keho nahi korilo ahar, sabe prem sukhe nritya boy nahi ar. None of them ate anything for 3 months. They did nothing other than dance in the happiness of ecstatic love. Pāṇihāṭi grame jata hoilo prema sukh, chari vede varni bek, she shab kotuka. The happiness of ecstatic love that manifests in the village of Pāṇihāṭi will be discussed in the 4 Vedas. Eko dande Nityananda korilen jata, taha varni bar shakti ache kar koto. Who has the ability to describe all the pastimes that Nityananda performed in half an hour? Khone khone apane kore nritya ranga, chaturdike loy shab parishada shanga. Nityananda passed every moment dancing in ecstasy in the midst of his associates. Kokon va apane boshiya virasane, Na chayena shakal bhagata jane jane. Sometimes he would sit in the Virasan posture and have the devotees dance one after another before him. Eko sevake nritte heno ranga hoy, chaturdike dekhi jeno prema vanyamoy. The dancing of each devotee was so sublime that the four directions became filled with a flood of ecstatic love. Mahajhare pore jeno kadala kavan, ei mata prema shuke pore sarvajan. In the happiness of ecstatic love, everyone would fall to the ground like banana trees, falling in a great storm. Apane je kohe Mahāprabhu Nityānanda, shei mata korilen sarva bhakta vrinda. All the devotees did whatever Lord Nityānanda asked them to do. Niravadi Śrī Krishna Caitanya Sankirtan Korayen Korin Loya Bhaktagan. He would induce all the devotees to constantly perform Sankirtan, as inaugurated by Śrī Krishna Caitanya. Gaudiya Bhasha. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu always engaged the devotees in Hari Sankirtan, as inaugurated by Śrī Caitanya. Through the songs he sang, he would reveal that Śrī Gaurasundara was non-different from Vrajendra Nandan. Heno shela gila prem prakasha korite, she hoy vivala je aise dekhite. He began to manifest such ecstatic love that anyone who came to watch became overwhelmed. Je sevaka jokhone je icha kore mane, shei asi upasanna hoy tatokhone. Whenever any servant desired something, he would immediately receive it. E mata parananda prema sukhara se, khona heno keho na janila tinamase. In this way, they were all so absorbed in the mellows of ecstatic love that those 3 months seemed to them like only a moment. Tabe Nityānanda Prabhu varakotta dine, alankar porite hoila ichamane. After some days, Nityananda Prabhu desired to decorate himself with some ornaments. Ichamatra sarva alankar she khane, upasanna asya hoilo vidyamane. As soon as that desire awoke in him, all varieties of ornaments appeared there. Suvarna rajata marakata manohar, nanavida bahumulya koteka prastar. Manishu prabal pata vasa muktakar, sukriti shakale diya kore namaskar. Pious people offered their obeisances and gave Nityananda attractive ornaments made of gold, silver, various precious stones like diamonds, emeralds, and corals, fine silk cloth, and pearl necklaces. Koto va nirmita koto koriya nirman, korilen alankar jeno ichatan. He then decorated himself with ornaments that had already been made. He decorated himself with ornaments that had already been made, and others that were made according to his own desire. Dui haste suvarner angar bolai, pushta kori porilen atma ichamoy. According to his own desire, he decorated his 2 wrists and arms with gold bracelets and armlets. Suvarna mudrika ratne koriya kichan, dasha shri angule shobha kore vibhushan. He decorated his 10 fingers with gold rings studded with jewels. Gaudiya Bhasha. The word mudrika refers to rings made of gold and other metals from objects like mohar, gold coins, rupees, and payasa. The word kichan means studded with or set with. Kanta shobha kore bahu vida divyahar, mani mukta prabaladi jata sarvasar. He decorated his neck with many varieties of fine necklaces made of diamonds, pearls, and corals. Rudraksha Rudraksha Viralakha Dui Suvarna Rajate Pandiya Purila Kante Maheshwar Prite. For the pleasure of Maheshwar, he wore a gold and silver necklace set with Rudraksha and cat's eye gems. Mukta Kasha Suvarna Koriya Surachan Dui Shruti Mule Shobe Parama Shobhan. His 2 ears were beautified by gold earrings studded with pearls. Paraparme Rajata Nupur Shushoban Tarupari Mala Shobe Jagata Mohan. His lotus feet were adorned with silver ankle bells, with an enchanting band of silver above them. Shukla Pata Nila Pita Bahuvida Bas Apurva Shobhaye Paridhaner Vilas. He was dressed in varieties of white, blue, and yellow silk cloth. In this way, he looked wonderfully attractive. Interesting. White, blue, and yellow silk cloth. It'd be so cool if somebody made a painting of Nityānanda like with all these ornaments, exactly how it's explained here. And, clothes and everything. This is like very descriptive. Maliti Malika Juti Champaker Mala Shiva Ke Koroe Shobha Andolana Kela. Flower garlands of Malati, Malika, Yuti, and Champak swung to and fro on his attractive chest. Goro Chana Sahita Chandana Divya Gandhe Vichitra Koriya Lepi Yachen Shri Ange. He smeared his body with fragrant sandalwood paste mixed with gorochana. Shri Mastake Shobita Vivida Pattavas Tarupari Nana Varna Malyer Vilas. His head was decorated with varieties of silk cloth with varieties of flower garlands on top. Prasanna Shri Mukha Koti Shashadara Jini Hasiya Kore Niravadi Haridvani. His pleasing face defeated the beauty of millions of moons. He smiled as he constantly chanted the name of Hari. Hare Krishna Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Je dike chahendui kamala nayane, she dike prem varshe bhashe sarva jane. In whatever direction his lotus eyes glanced, there was a shower of ecstatic love that inundated everyone. Rajater pray loha chanda shushobhana, dui dike kori thati suvarna bandhan, niravadi she loha danda shobe kore, mushala dhorila jeno prabhu haladhare. Just as Lord Haladhar held a club, Nityananda always held in his hands a beautiful iron rod that looked as if it were silver, and that was bound on 2 sides with gold. Parishad sab dhorilen alankar, angara boloy malla nupur suhar, shinga betra bangshi chanda tari gunja mala, shabe dhorilen gopaler angsha kala. His associates decorated themselves with various ornaments, like bracelets, bangles, leg bands, ankle bells, beautiful necklaces, buffalo horns, sticks, flutes, ropes, and garlands of gunja. For they were all expansions of the cowherd boys of Braj. E mata Nityānanda Svanubhava Range, Viharen Shakala Parshada Kori Shange. In this way, Nityananda enjoyed his own ecstatic mood as he sported in the company of his associates. Tabe Prabhu Sarva Parishadam Gana Meli, Bhakta Grihe Grihe Kore Parjatana Keli. The Lord then took his associates to the houses of various devotees. Chanavir Dui Kule Jata Ache Gram, Sarvatra Brahmin Nityānanda Jyotirdham. The most effulgent Nityananda visited each of the villages on both banks of the Ganga. Darashana matra sarva jiva mugda hoy, nama tattva dui Nityananda rasamoy. All living entities became astonished when they saw him. The most blissful Nityananda is the combined form of the holy name and the form of the Supreme Lord. Wow. Gaudiya Bhāṣya. Since Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata decorated himself with various valuable ornaments and garments, foolish people saw that he was absorbed in the mood of opulence rather than in the transcendental mood of Raj. Ordinary poor people who, as a result of poverty, considered themselves destitute, did not commit offenses at the feet of Avadut Śrī Nityananda while seeing his opulent manifestation of decorating himself with various ornaments. Rather, since those ornaments were worn to attract the attention of people bewildered by opulence, they became astonished and found in them sweetness and topics related to the service of Krishna. Śrī Nityananda is directly Swayam Prakash Tattva, the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself combined together and manifest as Swayam Prakash Nityananda, the reservoir of transcendental happiness. Śrī Nityananda and the name of Śrī Nityananda are most relishable transcendental objects. This was revealed to the living entities by the mercy of Śrī Nityananda. Pashandi o dekhile matra kore stuti, sarvasva divare she kone hoy mati. Even the atheists who saw him offered him respects and considered offering everything to him. Gaudiya Bhāṣya. Those who consider transcendental Viṣṇu and Vaishnavas as equal to mundane objects or ordinary persons are called Pashandis, or atheists. Even such godless people would offer respects to Nityananda Prabhu when they saw him. By seeing the Supreme Lord, their mundane conceptions based on material enjoyment were vanquished. Therefore, they ended up surrendering everything to the Lord. Those who surrender everything to the Supreme Lord do not see the external world as the object of their enjoyment. In other words, they become liberated souls. Nityānanda Swaruper Sharir Madhur Sabare Kripa Drishti Koren Prachur. The body of Nityananda Swarup was most enchanting. He glanced mercifully on everyone. Ki bhojane ki shayane ki bapar jatane khaneka na jai vyartha sankirtana bine. When he was eating, sleeping, or wandering about, he did not waste a moment without sankirtan. Gaudiya Bhāṣya. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu would always glorify the topics of Śrī Gaurasundara, even while eating, sleeping, or traveling. He spoke only about topics about topics of Krishna, nothing else. His every activity was accompanied by Hari Kirtan. Therefore, while describing Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Dev's teachings in his commentary on the 7th canto of the Śrīmad Bhagavatam and in the Bhakti Sandarbha, Śrī Jiva Goswami Prabhu has written about the activities of Śrī Nityananda as follows. Oh, this is a famous prose of Jiva Goswami. It's quoted all the time. Yadyap anya bhakti kalo kartavya tada kirtanakya bhakti samyogenaiva kartavya. Although other processes of devotional service should be performed in Kali Yuga, they must all be accompanied by the chanting of the holy names. They must all be accompanied by kirtan. Jekhane koren nritya Krishna sankirtan, tatai vivala hoy koto koto jan. Wherever he performed dancing and congregational glorification of Krishna, many people became overwhelmed with ecstatic love. One second. Grihaster shishu kon kichui na jane, taharao maha vrikha dhori tane. Even the householders, Even the householders' children, who did not know anything, uprooted large trees. Even the householders' children who do not know anything uprooted large trees. Hunkar koria vrikha phele upadiya, muire gopal boli bedai dhaiya. These children of the householders, they roared loudly, uprooted trees, and ran around exclaiming, I am a cowherd boy, muire gopal. Heno she samartha eka shishur sharire, shata jane miliya o dhorite na pare. Each boy possessed such strength that even 100 people were unable to control him. Śrī Caitanya jai Nityānanda boli, Singhanar kore shishu hoy kutuhali. The children would joyfully roar like lions and call out, all glories to Śrī Krishna Chaitanya and Nityānanda. E mata Nityānanda balaka jivan, vivala korite lagi lena shishugan. In this way, Nityānanda, the life and soul of all children, overwhelmed those children with ecstatic love. I like this verse. E mata Nityānanda balaka jivan, vivala korite lagi lena shishugan. Mase ke o eka shishu na kore ahar. Dekite loker chite lage chamatkar. For 1 month, those children did not eat anything. People became struck with wonder on seeing this. Hoilen vivala shakal bhakta vrinda, sabar rakak hoilen Nityānanda. All the devotees became overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and Nityānanda became the children's sole protector. Sabar rakak hoilen Nityānanda. Putra pray kori Prabhu sabare dhoriya, korayen bhojana apane hasta diya. The Lord would feed the children with his own hands, as if they were his children. Kare oba bandiya rakhen nija pashe, maren banden tabu atta hase. My God. He would sometimes bind one of them and keep him nearby. Although he beat them and bound them, they would laugh loudly. Okay. Even though he beat them and binds them, they would laugh loudly. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Nityānanda indiscriminately distributed his affection to the children. Sometimes he would feed them, and sometimes he would display the pastime of tying them up to stop their mischief. Everyone was satisfied by their behavior. The children accepted him as Baladev and themselves as cowherd boys, subordinate to personalities like Sridham. Okay, what time is it? It's 8:22. We still have a little bit more time left. Let's see, how long is this? Okay, let's read a little bit about Gadādhara Das, and then we'll end. There's just a little bit left. Yeah, okay. All right. Ekadina Gadādhara Dasir Mandire, Ailena Tane Priti Kori Bharatare. One day, Nityananda went to the house of Gadādhara Das to bestow mercy on him. Gopi Bhava Gadādhara Dasa Mahashar, Hoya Chen Ati Parananda. Hoya Achena Ati Paranandamoy. Gadādhara Das Mahashai was fully absorbed in ecstatic love in the mood of a gopi. Mastake Koriya Ganga Jaler Kalas, Nirabadi Dake Ke Kinibe Goras. He held a pot of Ganga water on his head and continually called out, who wants to buy milk? Who wants to buy goras? I love that word, goras. Cow juice. Shri Bala Gopala Murti Tana Debaloi, Achen Parama Lavanyer Samuchoy. There was a most enchanting deity of Śrī Balagopal in his temple. Dekhi Balagopaler murti manohar, prite Nityānanda loila vakher upar. When Nityananda saw that enchanting deity of Balagopal, he affectionately embraced the deity to his chest. Ananta hridoye dekhi Śrī Balagopal, sarvogane haridvani koren vishal. When everyone saw Śrī Balagopal on the chest of Ananta, they began to loudly chant the name of Hari. Hunkar Koriya Nityananda Mallarai, Korite Lagila Nritya Gopala Lilai. The great wrestler Nityananda roared loudly and began to dance in the mood of a cowherd boy. Antya-khaṇḍa Gayen, Madhavananda Ghosh, Shuni Avadhuta Singha Parama Santosh. Then Madhavananda Ghosh sang about the Dan Lila, and the lion-like Avadut became greatly satisfied. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Dan Khandagan refers to a song describing Krishna's Dan Lila, or pastime of charging tax, which is elaborately described in Srila Rupa Goswami's Dan Keli Komudi, and also Raghunath Das Goswami's Dan Keli Chintamani, I think, right? Bhagyavanta Madhaver Heno Kanta Dwani Shunite Abhishta Hoy Avadhuta Mani. The voice of the fortunate Madhav was so sweet that the crest jewel of Avaduts became absorbed in ecstasy. E Rupa Lila Tana Nija Prem Range, Sukriti Śrī Gadādhara dāsa Kori Shange. In the happiness of his own ecstatic love, Nityananda enjoyed such pastimes with the fortunate Śrī Gadādhara Das. Gopi Bhave Bahya Nahi Gadādhara Dase, Niravadi Apanake Gopi Heno Vase. Gadādhara Das had no external consciousness, for he was absorbed in the mood of a gopi and always considered himself to be a gopi. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Gadādhara Das always remained absorbed in his constitutional position and did not externally accept the dress of a saki. He certainly was always absorbed in the mood of a gopi, but he did not display duplicity by wearing a gopi's dress. Tan Khanda Lila Shuni Nityānanda Rai, Jai Nritya Koren Taha Varna Na Jai. When Lord Nityananda heard topics of the Dan Lila, he danced in a way that is beyond description. Prema Bhakti Vikare Rajata Ache Nam, Sava Prakashiya Nritya Kore Anupam. He displayed all the transformations of ecstatic love as he danced incomparably. Gaudiya Bhashya. There are 8 symptoms of sattvic bhavs, or transcendental symptoms, and 33 kinds of sanchari bhavs, are continuously existing ecstatic symptoms. Vidyuter praya nritya gatir bhangima, kiva she arbuta bhuja chalana mahima. As he danced, the movement of his bodily limbs appeared like lightning. How wonderful was the movement of his arms. Kiva she nayana bhangi ki sundar has, kiva she arbuta shira kampana vilas. How wonderful was the movement of his eyes. How beautiful was his smile. And how wonderful was the swaying of his head. Ekatra koriya dui charana sundar, kiva jore jore lampa dena manohar. How wonderfully he jumped about, keeping his 2 beautiful feet together. Jedike chahe Nityānanda prema rase, shedike stri purushe Krishna rase bhashe. The men and women, in whatever direction Nityananda cast his love-filled glance, all floated in the mellows of love for Krishna. Heno she koren kripa drishti atishar, paranande deho smriti karanathakar. His glance was filled with such mercy that everyone forgot their own bodies in ecstasy. Jai bhakti vanchen yogendradi muni gane, Nityananda prasade she bhunje jete jane. By Nityananda's mercy, anyone and everyone relish the devotion that the best of the yogis and sages desire. Hasti sama janana kaile tina din, cholite na pare deho hoy atikin. If a person as strong as an elephant does not eat for 3 days, he will not be able to walk, and his body will become weak. Gaudiya Bhashya, if a human being as strong as an elephant fasts for 3 days, he loses the ability to walk and his body becomes weak. Ekamasa eka shishu na kore ahar, tatapi ho singha prai sabha vyavahar. Although each of those children did not eat for 1 month, they behaved like lions. Heno shakti prakashe Nityānanda rai, tatapi na bhuje keho chaitanya mayai. Such was the potency that was manifest by Lord Nityānanda. Yet, by the influence of Lord Chaitanya's illusory energy, no one could understand. E mata kotodin premananda rase, Gadādhara dasir mandire prabhu voishe. In this way, Nityananda stayed a few days in the house of Gadādhara Das, absorbed in the mellows of ecstatic love. I think we'll end here. Oh wait, no, this one verse. Bahya nahi Gadādhara dasir sharire, niravadi hari bolo bolai savare. Gadādhara Das did not display external consciousness. He would always induce everyone to chant Hari Bol. So tomorrow we'll read about there was a most sinful Qazi living in that village. He strongly opposed the performance of kirtan. Gadādhara Mahashaya was always intoxicated with transcendental ecstasy. One night, he went to the house of that Qazi. So we'll hear about what Gadādhara Das did to the Qazi tomorrow, what he did at the Qazi's house, who strongly opposed the performance of kirtan. Jai Ho. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ling, I'm just seeing Rukmini's comments right now. Oh, Mugdha can also mean charmed or enchanted. Can't remember what verse that was. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the comments. All right. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki Jai. I'm going to do a short Jadwani because it's late. Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai Srila Param Gurudev ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gana ki Jai Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtana ki Jai Jai Gadādhara, Srimad Nityananda Prabhu and all his associates, their arrival at the house of Raghav Pandit and Pānihāṭi ki Jai. Oh, what else? What happened in this chapter? Anyways, Mahaprabhu is preaching all throughout Bengal ki Jai. The abhiṣeka of Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. All the children of Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai. Gadādhara Das ki Jai. Shri Pāṇihāṭi Gram ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtana ki Jai. Dadash Gopala ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitāi Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Pancha Kalpataru Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavane Vaishnave Bhyo Namo Namaha. Oh yes, kadamba flowering lime tree ki Jai. Hare Krishna, everybody. Dandavat pranams, Champak Mataji, Rukmini Didi, Shubhananda Prabhu, Nari Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarini Mataji, Gopal Ghanasham Prabhu, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook is Raseshwari Mataji, Kishore Prabhu, English 101, Vidyalala Didi, Rasa Priya Didi, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat pranams Prabhu, and how do you say it? I don't know how to say your name. Wandreya Herza. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much for joining. That was such a fun read. I especially liked when they would just wander in like 20 miles one direction, trying to go to the Ganga, and they'd go in the opposite direction. And then they'd say, no, the Ganga's that way. And then they'd go that way, but then in the wrong direction again and go another. Yeah, that was really fun. Anyways, All right, thank you so much for joining, and see you all tomorrow to read more about the glories of Shriman Nityananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams. Hari Bol.